Alrighty guys, sorry for being BRB a moment or two longer than expected. Welcome back guys. And yeah, sorry for being BRB a moment. So, massive matchup here in the World Team League. This Team NV undefeated versus Dragon Phoenix Gaming. A lot of people say they're the best team in the league. But they're not the team that's undefeated, are they? I mean, hey, going into today, it is 8-1 for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Their only loss came to Team Liquid in Week 2. That was a big upset. Clem really powering up. No Zest available for the ace match was a bit of controversy. And yeah, 8-1. Otherwise, this might have been a matchup between two undefeated teams. 1 point between them. And that's because NV have gone to the ace match a couple of times, etc. But have always come out on top. When you've got Maru available to play in your ace matches, it's pretty good. They went to the ace match against Exxon. Maru showed up to beat up Max Pax, for example. So it's not been a perfect season for NV. They also went to the ace match against Kaizi, where Maru beat up Solar in the ace match. So yeah, they dropped a couple points here and there. That's how this league works. You get 3 points for a win, 2 points for a win in an ace match, 1 point for a loss in an ace match. So yeah, not a perfect season. What's big about this match is the winner of this is going to maintain first place in this group. Either Team NV stay in first place and they open up a gap, which basically I think guarantees them first overall, apart from maybe Kaizi Gaming could catch them. Or Dragon Phoenix Gaming are going to take the first place position for the first time in the league if they win this today. Or alternatively, this would be the craziest one. If Dragon Phoenix Gaming go to an ace match and win the ace, they would be tied on points. It would start to come down a map score. NV have to play the Afrika Freaks next week, and Kaizi have to play Dragon Phoenix Gaming, which are some massive matches. So both of them have tough opponents next week too. So this is a real kind of battle over the top of this league with this match today. It's a really important series. And we've got matches that, you know, are deserving to be here as well. SOS against Rogue, Bunny takes on Zest, and Maru takes on Cure. I mean, what a combination of games that is. I mean, that is really something something spectacular. So definitely excited for this one. As we get this ready to go, looks as though SOS are going to go for a Void Wait into Twilight Council. Not really too surprising. Twilight Council, get that Resonating Glaives. I think that's something which SOS has been doing quite a lot of lately, honestly. SOS really amazes me. Like, it feels like he's just not being the SOS that we used to know and love. But then all of a sudden this year, it's like he's almost back a little bit, but not... Like, he has his, like, flashes of amazing, and then kind of, like, withers away and continues to... I mean, he just kind of works in SOS's ways, right? Like, you know, he never was kind of this player who played straight up stand and looked amazing. He always played these weird builds that, you know, worked wonders for him. So, yeah, it's always fun to see SOS play, because honestly, I still don't know what to expect. I don't know if I'm going to see an SOS that looks as though he could beat anybody in the world, or an SOS that looks as though he's going to try and all in, it's going to fall flat on its face, and it looks as though he's not looked at StarCraft 2 in the last couple of years. And there have been series of SOS recently which have looked like that, so it has tended to be a bit more in the favor of an SOS that can beat anyone in the world. So, like I say, really entertaining. Of course, we got Rogue here too. We know Rogue, big bad boy Rogue, is someone who we know is very, very good. No, nothing to be said there. One of the greatest of all times, triple world champion, BlizzCon, and 2 Katowices is really, you know, achievements that very few could even begin to compete with or contend with. So, yeah, he's obviously one of the best. GSL champion as well, of course. But after a GSL, Rogue usually does drop off a little bit, and he's had some online events lately which have not looked good for him. So, as we set up here, the immediate issue for Rogue is going to be that SOS has Glaive Adepts, and Rogue doesn't even have a Roach Roaring ready. So Roach Roaring not even finished just yet. As we get this ready to go, a little bit of a block at the front, and RoboBay coming through. Claire's about halfway done, like I said, it's going to be finishing shortly. A drone still coming up, and a couple of Overlords continuing through as well. These Adepts want to try and jump on through the wall off. Not quite going to make it in there just yet, though, as another Extractor comes down on that third base. And just going to be seeing our RoboBay still about halfway done as well, so just continuing to get that rolling as the Immortal comes through as well here from SOS. And these Lings are going to run in and get a little bit of a catch on these couple of Adepts, so Adepts are going to go down. These Lings coming in, getting a massive surround, and actually doing a really good job of just jumping on this. So a lot of these Adepts will fall, so a lot of them dropping already. As again, that Disruptor production starts up from SOS as well. So getting those Disruptors up and rolling here right now, getting those going. You can see a couple of gateways out over that right-hand side of the natural expansion. Just going to be seeing everything still joining up together. So you have our Infestation Pit coming through, our hatchery building, our roaches in production, and everything as we expect it to be at the moment, I suppose, as Rogue. I mean, really just wanting to know what kind of tech he's going to play, and the Swarm Hosts seem to be the go-to at the moment. And we've seen a couple people, obviously Dark was playing Swarm Host earlier today against Zaun as well in the next event, and we've seen a fair amount of Swarm Hosts as of late, so they're definitely kind of having a, I don't want to say a surge in popularity, but they're seeing a good amount of play. I think one of the things is that Rogue obviously used to be one of the best Swarm Host players out there. This isn't Swarm Host, by the way. Apparently Hydra Den started up, so we're going to go Hive and Hydras and probably then Lurkers. So yeah, not going to go Swarm Host, just instead going to go for the Lurker style. Very hard to differentiate, actually, I think. I've struggled to see the difference between someone who's setting up to build a bunch of Swarm Hosts and someone who's about to drop down a Hydra Den and build a Lurker Den alongside Hive, you know? So yeah, a little bit of a tough call. I don't know. I was feeling Swarm Host. Maybe didn't have enough money banked up for Swarm Host, though, so I guess that's generally the tell. I didn't actually do much checking there, so a little lazy casting by me, I suppose. Adept's going to work their way up the left-hand side. Immortal getting rid of the creep spread as well, as these Adepts move on through. Trying to see what's up. I mean, we do have the Immortal continue to put some damage out. Roaches and Rabbits going to come in for a surround. Now, the Disruptors all kind of missed, and now you've got an army that's kind of buffered by Adepts, and I mean, Adepts just don't really do that much against Roaches. I mean, they are good for tanking, but there's only then one Immortal in this, and the SOS make this work. Another round of this time Stalker's reinforcing, so his army getting a little bit better, and what is good here is that the Disruptors are going to get a chance to fire a second time, because obviously that first fight, the Disruptors didn't do much. And then if you can't disengage before the Disruptors are ready again, you're generally in trouble. But the Disruptors getting to go a second time, and they're getting a good amount of Ravagers. Just the power really is just in those Disruptors. Now the Immortal goes down as well, so it's Stalkers and just a couple Disruptors. I think this army does start to fall apart in power from SOS. Rogue holds. Loses a few drones. The Adepts went shading on by to deal damage elsewhere. And they do sneak in to do a pretty good job of that, if we're going to be honest. Does a very good job of it, in fact. Another Disruptor shot fires. Doesn't quite connect, though. There's this army of Rogues still hanging around the top side. A few additional Ravagers just going to finish up now. Quadra going to pick away the Creep Tumor. And the Prism just going to try and disrupt her elsewhere on the map, but it's getting scary because Seismic Spines is on the way, so these Lurkers are going to be up soon. You're going to really need like a very solid, can fight for itself and stand up for itself army here. Otherwise, that's just going to be a massive issue as a couple drones do go down. Stalker's coming in, Ravager gets picked up as well. Going to continue to fall back. A lot of these Lings going to go chasing on in. I mean, SOS's army now really is. I mean, he's on his way to Storm. But as it currently stands, it kind of just feels like it's Stalkers. I guess Rogue isn't really ready to attack in further, though, so he isn't going to press the issue. Up around the left-hand side. A couple of Lings being picked away at. Lurkers are producing. If you already had those Lurkers up, I think SOS might have just been dead there if Rogue had just committed through with Lurkers, jumped on top of a base. I think that's something SOS has to try and defend, but I'm not sure it's something he's set up to defend. Things are going to sneak on in, and a few of these probes running around. A couple of additional Zergs are going to warp in as well, and they're going to continue against these few Zerglings. They're still doing pretty decently. And those Lings are going to get cleaned up pretty much right away right now. Back around the bottom, Rogue is going to go diving on through the Zealots. In a little bit of trouble, going to get pushed away. I mean, as Rogue's still trying to find ways in, SOS's army has gotten better, and am I surprised that Rogue hasn't been more aggressive? I guess not really. Everything else still just moving around a little bit. I think the little roaches splitting off. I mean, at this point, you kind of want to trade out roaches to improve the army a little bit elsewhere as well anyway, right? Usually, so nice to get a bit of multi-prong going. And yeah, Rogue just continues to take his side of the map as SOS kind of just sitting on 4 bases. Looks like you might catch the roaches on the left side. Stalkers could blink in to chase those down, but doesn't want to commit so heavily, but he is very far off to the left. As a few units come down here, he sees those units in position, so Rogue again will not go for the breakthrough. He's not going to try and jump on a base or anything just yet, or anything along those lines. As Mothership comes in, additional Stargates are building. And SOS feels as though it's safe enough now to start making a play in towards the later stages of this game. He's actually going to lose his +1 air weapons, though, so the probes just trying to keep these roaches out of the base. The sentry does get a warp in, and it does get to force feed these roaches out. The storm comes through, but there's just no other follow-up. The few Zealots will get cleaned out, and now you're going to need something else to actually finish off those roaches. I mean, another round of Zealots will do decently, and looks as though SOS will clean this up. Not a bad defense. I mean, really didn't lose much in this process, Zealots, but they're very replaceable, right? Very, very replaceable, as these couple of Zealots are just going to continue on through. And here comes Rogue now on the right-hand side. The only thing I'd say for Rogue is I feel like it doesn't get better for him from here, right? It only gets worse playing against those carriers until he gets Corruptors up. So, I feel like now's the time to fight. Your opponent's investing into carriers, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to force fights, although actually SOS says, I'm not going to fight, I'm going to base trade. Across the map I go. Mothership's going to show up over here as a defense. And now Rogue going to start pulling back, but he runs some of his lurkers through this Stalker Immortal army, so that's going to be a bit of damage done already. And uh-oh, a lot of probes going down to these lurker shots as well, so getting so much damage done over there. Here come these Stalkers, Immortals, Disruptors moving up this ramp. Disruptor shot fires. A couple of Hydras going to get picked away at. Lightning clouds coming through. It's going to be seen GG called. SOS is a counter-attack, or attack here just doesn't work at all. And Rogue is going to pick up the victory for the 1-0 lead in this best of... Welcome back, guys. This Rogue will spawn top left of SOS's map pick, Romanticide. At the bottom right, player being that player who lost map 1, SOS from Team NV. Yeah, I appreciate at one point in the last game I just saw chat mention it that I said the Stalk should blink after roaches and blink wasn't done. Actually, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of shocked. I thought blink was done when he was warping in Stalkers with that like Stalker Disruptor little army with the Adepts on the top left. When he was attacking the third base. I actually couldn't, I had to do a double take. I just had to double check the stream. I was convinced blink was done. Way before that, like minutes before. Obviously it wasn't, so... Yeah, it was kind of weird that SOS didn't start blink so quickly after the, With how many Stalkers he warped in, I really did just assume he would be making blink and stuff, you know, so... And there was a, bit of a funky one. As we get this set up, and we get this underway. Game number 2 of this best of 7. Overall, of course, best of 2 between these two players. So the last map Rogue and SOS will play. Maps 3 and 4 will be Zest against Bunny. And maps 5 and 6 will be Maru taking on Cure. A lot of good games coming up here in the World Team League today, guys. We are... That's pretty much what we always are. We're a bit blessed with the World Team League. A lot of the times the games Really are just fantastic. All these top Koreans playing against each other. Anchgasm pool. All coming up at the moment here as we get this underway, get this started up. And yeah, obviously so far so good. Obviously SOS picking this map. Romanticide very good for long games. You can take your bases easily. You can get up to a lot of bases pretty swiftly. Without too many issues, anything along those lines. And that's a lot of the time what really helps you out in these kind of games. Keeps you on the right track. If SOS can get up to that Sky Toss on me, I'd love to see what he could do there. Obviously just kind of died in the process of getting there last game. Like I say, it was the right time for Rogue to be aggressive, and SOS chose to counterattack and to be on the map, or, and to continue attacking rather than pulling back to defend. Maybe pulling back to defend wouldn't have been so bad. I don't know. Obviously hard to say, for example. Stargate will be finishing from SOS, so a Stargate opening again. Obviously, last game Stargate Glaives. We'll see if this time it's maybe Stargate into second Stargate, or just Stargate into something else to begin with here. SOS Better Cheese uses talents. It's funny though, because Romanticide isn't really the cheese kind of map, right? I mean, if you can pick any map in the map pool apart from the one you just played on, would you really go to Romanticide if you're if you're going to do that? Well, probably not, right? So then maybe SOS just has something crazy planned on this map anyway, so it will work out. Never doubt the madness that is SOS, for sure. End up moving up into the center, and let's just see those few Zerglings going to make their way down the bottom as well. A couple Queens, drones hanging out on the top side. Pro wanted to put down the Nexus. Just blocked for a moment, and the Lings will block it again, and Probe will go down. So nicely controlled by Rogue. Obviously, that is the right call. Jump on that Probe. Don't let the Nexus go up. As the Void Ray comes through to kill off Overlords on the other side of the map, so Rogue just doesn't have Queens nearby. One Overlord dead. You commit for the second. Free for the Queens to chase this Void, but I guess it just wouldn't matter. They're just not going to get enough damage done in time, so... yeah, nicely handled, actually. 2 Overlord kills is a nice little bonus for SOS that you wouldn't usually find at this stage of the game. So, nice little bit of extra damage, because obviously you kill one Overlord that's, the scouting Overlord to begin with as well. So, yeah, that really does go a long way. That does help out quite a bit, actually. It's a nice little bonus. That's for sure. We're just going to be seeing the Overlord here. It's picked away at. Yeah, SOS is actually just finding a lot of little holes, a lot of little gaps in the defense at the moment. Queen's out on the third base, just getting that set up to go. And a couple of Queens putting the damage out, the Oracle up the top side, or the Void up the top side, sorry, taking a few hits there. And then try and poke in the Natural as well. Behind this, we just started moving a charge. Plenty of gates, Templar, Archives, and the Robo. So all the things you'd need for the next step. As we're all going to play the melee upgrade style. So with +1 melee started, obviously not super fast +1 melee, compared to what it can sometimes look like. Let's see, Queens come through, and the Voids get pushed back just a little bit. And the Templar Archives just ticking along here, should be finished up shortly. We can start to see what exactly SO1 wants to do. He's still building probes, no gases on this third base just yet. So potential for a lot of Zealot Warp-ins, at least a little bit of Zealot Harass, at least with this Prism coming through. That Warp-in was clutch, just stops the run-by from getting through there. He's going to come into the left-hand side now. There's a battery here, but the dev's fully surrounded, and well, the battery fully surrounded as well means it won't really last all that long as the Voids come back to help defend, but yeah, SOS doesn't have a lot of army supplies, so just losing probes here. Only actually lost 1 probe, but it's the mining time, right? You pull all those probes away from the third to the natural. It ain't pretty, right? It ain't pretty at all, as a Nidus network starts from row. That doesn't seem quite what I expected it to be. Why would you be building a Nidus? Just seems crazy as, oh my goodness, these Archons though getting caught as well. Like, everything's going pretty well for Rogue, and maybe the Nidus just gives you some extra harassing options. It just seems like such a weird time to build a Nidus. When you go into Aspire as well, yes, just continue counterattacks as Rogue's just going to get in here, or at least try to break through into this mineral line. Consistently keeping SOS, who I think wants to move across onto the map. He's consistently keeping SOS back at home, so SOS is not able to actually make that move out. Has been delayed heavily now, buying time for that Spire, and now you've got a Nidus in the corner of the main, so yeah, I mean, I guess if you've got a position like this, the Nidus is going to work out. Like I say, it's just a weird set of units for Nidus, because it's just going to be, what, Lings spawning out of there? Oh, apparently Queens as well, so Queens and Lings are going to be spawning out of here. And, well, yeah, this is a little bit awkward for SOS as Rogue finds his way in. Probes are dropping over on the third base. A lot of probes dropping, in fact, as you make our way forward, and that's going to start targeting down a pylon. Now, Zealots do get to warp in. A lot of Lings going to stream in his support as well. The wall-off was not covered. And there goes 4 gates of production already shut down. A couple Queens out the front, though, and they're going to go down without their buddies to aid them. And the rest of this Link Queen force continuing through as well, as Zealots, Voids continue to try and make stuff happen here. As that's going to be seeing those Zealots going to charge through to the low ground as well. Lings continuing to fight, continue to trade out. Queens and Lings still continue to get set up here as our Zealots continue to warp in, continue to move on through. Just going to be seeing the Zealots continuing in with this at the moment. I mean, there goes the Zealots once again, just going to get active. Charging forward, going to go in towards that Nidus. Just going to be seeing our Mutas flying through as well. A couple more Zealots going to continue to be picked away at. I mean, Rogue does a fair amount, right? Like, I think he trades reasonably, and he kills a lot of probes, so SOS is in trouble. And now there's just a Mutaflock of, you know, doom, basically, ready to party here. So, Mutas are going to come through, and I actually don't know what there really is to deal with Mutas. Like, Phoenix are producing, but a very low amount of Phoenix compared to how many Mutas there are right now. As the Mutas just fly on in, obviously Archons don't look like they'll be enough to help with this either. I think we've got ourselves a bit of a GG coming up out of SOS's. He's got Lings in that third base again. Dragon Phoenix Gaming will get the 1-0 start. Thank you to Rogue for that. Alright guys, hi. Sorry, just got back to the computer. These guys are really zero chill today on the brakes, aren't they? They are just go, go, go. Sorry, just grabbing the drink that I just got. Okay. Game number 3 of this best of 7. Dragon Phoenix Gaming lead 2-0. So Zest 2-0 here. Wins it for his team, but Bunny has been a formidable opponent as of late. I would not count Bunny out at all. Zest PvT is terrifying. We're going to move up here as we apparently get a little bit of a look at an APM tab. Just going to be seeing the probe, having a look around, seeing what's going on. Couple points on the board for DPG. Great start for them. Again, a win here. You know, DPG expect to be top of this league, right? And Team NV are great competitors and they're a great team, but they definitely have their weaknesses. And SOS, if he doesn't show up, and you basically need Bunny to show up and then Maru to show up against Cure. I think I really like the matchups for Dragon Phoenix Gaming though, because TVT seems very winnable for Cure, right? It feels very doable, if nothing else, at least, compared to some of the other chances I would put against Maru. Zest PVT is terrifying, so I don't mind him against Bunny, and I think Rogue against SOS is maybe one of the safer ones to avoid SOS's trickery in PvP and, you know, shenanigans in PvT. So yeah, the lineup definitely works out for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, from my point of view at least. We'll see if they can get the job done. Even one map win for Zest guarantees them going to an ace match, if nothing else, so that'd be great as well. Guarantee an ace, and then you're guaranteed some points. Remember, every position you finish in the league is one less match you play in the playoffs. So, finishing first, you start in the grand finals. Finishing second, you start in essentially the second semifinals. Third place, you have to play 3 matches to win the tournament, and 4th/5th place will be the start of that gauntlet-style playoffs. They'll be the first matches and have to go the whole way through 4 best-of-7s in a row if they want to be the champs of the team league. So definitely every single position at the top of the league matters a lot, because it's basically one less matchup that you have to play, and that's one less chance for things to not go your way, your opponents to get the to get the edge on you, and all that kind of stuff. Armory is building from Bunny as we get that started out. So Armory already on the way through here. There's a couple of Stalkers kind of coming through. Reaper hops up, but has to hop back right down. So it does get blocked. I mean, Zest with the Stargate on the map, Oracle on the way through. Kind of like Bunny's set up against an Oracle. The problem is he's about to load up all 3 Widow Mines and take them across the map, at which point, well, the Oracle might be able to get damage done. And that's really bad for Bunny because he's delayed his initial command center, right? The good news is, it means that Zest is not going to have detection, so these Widow Mines are likely to do damage, which should account to, probably evening up the situation here, right? So yeah, I feel like the Oracle's going to have a great time, but I feel like Bunny's going to have a pretty good time as well. As Zest just has, his detection is basically going to be an Oracle and Revelations, so if he keeps using energy over here, no Revelations at home. Look at the follow-up from Bunny as well, going to start building a Thor. I actually really like it, as this Widow Mines are going to get burrowed up, and like I've been saying, it even kills the Stalker, which is really nice. There's no detection, so there's just no way to actually see these mines and to clean them out. Mine in the main base gets 2 more probes as well, so doing very well with this. And doing a fantastic job as one Widow Mine gets picked up, saved, brought off to the side. And that's just going to make it more difficult to hit the Revelation on both those mines at the same time. So yeah, really just maximizing the mine damage. And the length of time that's going to be available for... Uh-oh, probes just came back to mining here. Maybe could have controlled the probe on the left for a couple extra kills. Mine in the main base should be going off in a moment or two as well. Zest, have you been tracking this and paying attention? Well, actually, he did. He split that probe away last second. Second Oracle was just finished, and the problem is you've built a second Oracle against what is now a Thor push. So you've got a second Oracle against a Thor. That's not really ideal. A ton of batteries on the way up here from Zest, but I'm not sure if it's going to make the difference. He's in the main base dealing with this Widow Mine, so the initial push is going to start up already. The battery is going to go down already, at least one of them. Uh-oh. Obviously, these gates in some trouble too. SCVs are going to mass repair that Thor, keep it alive against these Stalkers. Marines making their way around the side. They want to get rid of the battery, basically, is the real goal here. Super batteries will be available to fight. He's going to target down one of the batteries. It gets healed by the super battery, but that means there's no actual healing on these Zealots. That's okay. The other battery gets taken down, but it was out of energy at the end there. I'm still seeing this Thor full of HP, right? And it's going to be a little bit complicated as we do continue to push on forward. Marines and the Thor. Oh no, going to catch the Void Ray flying straight over. What a horrible way to have your reinforcements killed off. And these gateways are getting low as well, as probes are going to start pulling into this. The Thor probably will go down here, but of course it can micro back the power of Medivacs. Uh-oh, and the Thor put in some damage, although it has been targeting probes, maybe some wasted DPS, but Zest has lost way too much. And Bunny is continuing to reinforce with a siege tank showing up. He's about to kill a couple of these gateways, like I've been saying. That's been a threat all along, losing these gates and losing that production. Bunny will put Team NV on the scoreboard and promises to give us a bit of a fight here in this NV DPG showdown. And again, he plays against Kira, who is yet to drop a map in the league, I believe, still. Which is kind of crazy. Bottom left, Bunny, playing on Zest's map pick, which will be Jagannatha. And Zest is in the top right, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, of course. Really fun build from Bunny. Like I say, we've seen it before. Used in the War Chest Team League, used it in GSL one time, I believe. So yeah, I kind of like it. Like I said, I think it's fun. It's a fun one to mix in. He's one of the only players really doing it any time, basically in any sort of regularity. But he is really delivering with it as well. I was just hyping up that Maru Kira matchup, but actually Kira 15-0 in the league, by the way. Maru 15-1. So Maru has dropped a single map this season, while Kira's dropped 0. They're the two highest win percentage players in the league out of people who have played more than 5 maps, basically. And they play next on this maps 5 and 6. Of course, Zest is one of the highest win rate players. 13-1 going into today as well. But now dropping a map, his second map of the season. Not a good time to drop it because it could have absolutely been an easier way to a victory today if Zest had just picked up these couple, and done is done. You don't even have to worry about Maru. Unfortunately, well, it's too far gone. Well, Cybercore goes through. We're just going to be seeing our game setting up. 3 Maru games in a row. Yeah, well, if we get... if Bunny loses this and Maru wins 2 in a row, then obviously we might get Maru as an ace player. I'd imagine we probably do, right? So I'm going to see another bit of a proxy to start off with here from Zest. Obviously, I mean, last game leaves a lot to be desired from Zest's point of view because, you know, a lot of the last game wasn't so much like his build was bad, it's just his build wasn't good against what Bunny was doing. And it's a very rare thing what Bunny was doing in that last game. So, as we go into Stargate this time around, we'll see what happens. It's going to be multi-racks, though, out of Bunny. I always like a heavy racks opener against Stargate because it feels like it's so difficult to keep those Marines at home and to get the right amount of units up to defend on your side of the map as well. So, definitely a bit of something to be done there. As Barracks is going to be finishing in the main base. Tech Lab is going to start up on that racks as well. Oracle going to come on through here, get that underway. Chrono boost that out and rally it down in toward the main base as well. So just going to get that going. As you see, SCV derping out a little bit on the ramp, just going backwards and forwards a little bit there. Let's see, a proxy gateway as well, so we're actually going to be seeing that Zest is really going to power up and continue through with a bit further aggression off that proxy gate. The Oracle flies by the Marines initially, of course. SCVs have to go running, 2 to go down. And Bunny, a couple workers lost, not the end of the world, very playable still. All of those bio upgrades coming through, Stim and Combat Shield plus 1 attack. The big question will be, can you do anything with it all? Especially as Zest seems to want to go into this blink, and with a gateway across the map, you imagine he's going to be pretty active with those stalkers. You're not going to, you're not going to be able to stim endlessly or anything here, as Oracle does pretty well, goes and gets the very fresh mule. So fresh mule goes down, and that is a bit of a shame. That's very unfortunate. We got Engineering Bay up on this top side, and there's 12 o'clock. These Stalkers and Adept coming over. I'm going to pick up this SCV, as that's going to be seen. Engineering Bay is taking some damage. So Engineering Bay taking a few shots. Is going to go down, is going to get cancelled up. Against Impact Combat Shield, plus 1 attack, all continuing through as well here from Bunny. As the Oracle is going to take a turn into the main base, drops a Revelation down. Trying to keep up to date with the rest of this. Oracle flies in, and really not much left, as at the end of the day, Bunny hasn't found a chance to go across the map super early with these units. He's going to go now, but he's going now when his units have, his upgrades are finished. He didn't get across the map for the upgrades finishing, so it's not the most terrifying of timings we've ever seen, although it's still obviously pretty substantial. As Bunny is going to stim on forward, and these Stalkers getting blanked back, trying to broader safety. As I see a lot of people discussing ace matches, I mean, if Bunny just wins this game, a lot of people discussing ace matches assuming Zest's going to win a map and Maru's going to 2-0 cure. I think an ace is very possible, but I don't think the results that you guys are all expecting are like super set in stone or anything. I think it's a very open series still, although this starts to look a little bit better from Zest, as he really does deflect this without taking any damage at all, so really gets into a much improved situation. That is for sure. Stork's coming in again. Marines in the bunker. Gonna actually lose that bunker. And again, so many stims being used. The only problem with this build is once you start stimming, you don't have medevacs because it's 3 racks. The factory is hence delayed, and so is the starport. So it was really, really tough because all of a sudden you're in this position where you kind of just want to stim all the time, and you want to obviously, you know, move around the map and fight blink stalkers effectively, but you have no healing, so your army just is nowhere near as effective as it usually might be. And Zest is keeping up the pressure, knowing that these units are low HP and that they just can't justify continuing to stim. Finally, the medevacs show up, but I gotta say, I like what Zest has been doing with this pressure. Look at the resources lost. Wow, not a single unit lost from Zest. So all of this has been free damage, which he's picking up as well, and yeah, good decision to be so aggressive with these stalkers this game because it's absolutely working wonders for him. We've got another stalker here, maybe going for one more as well. I was just going to be seen still. Bunny continuing to settle down a little bit. Moving up through into the center. Stalker's going to have to blink away there from Zest, so again, falling back just slightly. Bioforce continuing to move around in the center as we do see the Storm about to be finishing. Charge going to be coming through as well. Those few Stalkers want to continue in. They get a Marauder. It's a nice pickoff. Taking down the Marauder right away is definitely a little bit of a bonus. Just going to be seeing the few Stalkers, so the few SCVs still setting up. Marines and Mines. Marauder 2 continue to move around a little bit as well. Just going to scan out the front here and see the battery and a couple High Templar advancing forward. I'll say credit to Bunny. I feel like he was in a bit of a tough position here. Zest was putting on a lot of pressure. I'm a little bit worried about now is that Bunny's A, out of position, and B, Zest has those High Templar and those Storms. And Bunny's preparation against that is basically to have a minefield, which is great. It also just means that Zest just doesn't run into that. And then what can Bunny actually do in terms of properly fighting? I gotta say, to be fair, the Widow Mines are doing great because they're all cloaked up as well, so they're lasting forever. Another couple Storms still coming through here, landing on a lot of units. Widow Mines are just about getting to go off. Some of the Storms are getting kills on them. Bunny's supply, is it going to hold strong? He's really just out of units, right? Like this Marauder count isn't going to do much. There's only a few of them. Another Storm goes in. I mean, actually, the supplies start to even up a little bit after Bunny evacuates the third. Is that a recall on the Morphine Archon? It is. It's actually not a bad idea because otherwise it's going to get chased down. It's slow moving, right? So difficult to do much with as the Stalker sees the mine here. Blinks out, just sets it off, but has no way to clean it up anyway, so I think yes, just safety. If you see it now, may as well do that quickly, and then you got a few, 30 seconds, 40 seconds where it's not so much of a problem. Rest of our Stalkers moving through. There's our Prism coming up out of Zest. 6 more Zealots on the way. The Sentry also coming in. +1 attack upgrade. I'll be finishing shortly as the Widow Mine goes off, is able to grab that Oracle. This next Widow Mine burrows up, another probe, gets shot down. I like this. Bunny putting some pressure on. Definitely feels like he needs something to slow Zest down a bit. He might get a bunch of probes there. Not sure why we're looking at the fight, which isn't even starting yet, as this Prism got to an acceleration zone. The Stim will help to kill it. Okay, we're going to go into a bit of a base trade, but the problem is Bunny just chased that Prism down halfway the map. So all of a sudden you've got... Okay, well, these High Templar are going to storm SCVs, which are going to start attacking them. We're going to have a base trade where Bunny is just very late to initiate, and I think Zest can get enough done and recall home and protect enough to just take a massive lead here. Looks as though we will start with the 3-1 advantage then for Dragon Phoenix Gaming going into the Cure Maru games, which will be maps number 5 and 6. So it will have to be a Maru 2-0 to take us to an ace match and to give Team NV some chances here today. Maybe getting rid of that Nexus. So yeah, I mean, Stalkers continue to work their wonders. Zealots coming through, doing what they can as well. Honestly, I felt like this game was pretty impressive from Bunny because it really felt like he was being pressured so heavily. It felt like he was only ever losing stuff, and he had such a bad start. Didn't kill anything for over about 1,500 resources of his own, and he really kept up. But you could see the issue in the end is just he had no real answer to Storm. He had a minefield, and maybe it would have even still been okay with his entire army wasn't out on the map, but with the army out on the map, obviously it was not really questionable. In the end, Zest decides just to build a Nexus on his left-hand side here, so just going to give up everything back at home. Doesn't see the need in recalling or anything, and we'll just play this out confident that he's going to have the expansion down that Bunny does not. So he's not wrong. Bunny has no workers left. He's been revealed. He is not going to have the command center left over any longer. And Bunny has just floating units in the corner, but obviously that's something that can be dealt with. You can rebuild on this left side, so floating buildings should not really be a decider in this game. And like I say, Dragon Phoenix Gaming should get to their 3-1 lead in this best of 7. GG Zest signing up with Bunny, so they will go 1-1 with Maru. Turn off that countdown for you all, so it's not on the screen for our game. And let's get this going. Bottom right of Blackburn to start us off. No surprise, 2 Terrans end up on Blackburn. Nice Terran map. Bottom right is Maru, bottom left is Kira. Of course, we don't really get time to do our intros right away. The observer's just so quick. So quick. As we get this up and running. Look at Maru. Early SCV across the map. So Maru going to come in with the aggression here. Which, don't get me wrong, Maru is known for his aggression. He's known for his proxies, etc. Just, you don't usually see... In TVT also, yes. I guess. Just, to me, it's more of a TVZ, TVP kind of thing. But I guess he does in TVT a fair amount too. On rack should probably be the Marauders that we're expecting to see here. We'll see what exactly the build is going to turn out to be from Cure as this continues through in the next couple of moments. Just getting this up and running. No Maru webcam. We just gotta sit with the picture. That's sad. Alright, well, I'm just going to be seeing Rax is going to be finished up in a moment or so from Maru here. And a Rax from Kira as well. But again, the whole point of this is that, Kira is not SCV scouting, so the Marauders showing up as a surprise can absolutely throw you off. Even if you're going for a double gas opening here, Marauders can still do very well in this situation. So Maru is just going to build his factory, of course, back at home. No surprises there. Like I say, it's obviously not too wild. We've been seeing this Marauder build really become popular again in TVT. I imagine something with the way that the meta switched and how openings, are set up. The Marauders just kind of became good once again. In this case, looks like here is just about to expand as well, right? So it's not like continuing to mine a ton of gas or anything. And depending on the timing that these Marauders show up, if you wait for concussive shells, this Reaper might be completely out of position, and there really is a good chance of getting something done. So I imagine we wait for at least 2 Marauders, then we push forward, and concussive shells will finish with that push forward. As well, this Reaper just turned back around, so maybe Q just... Okay, actually, so what he just did, he was just checking the proxy location on the right side, and then he's just going to keep his Reaper at home, so playing pretty safe, actually. But like I say, he's about to expand, and that's something which Maru has a pretty good shot of cancelling with these Marauders, or at the very least forcing a lot of SCVs to pull down to defend these Marauders. So yeah, the timing works out well, and this is all because Q does not scout. As our SCV shot down already, and now we move up this ramp, so in we go. Obviously, SCV should be pulled against this. Typically, you want to try and get ability, like something on this high ground so you can see without having to run up the ramp all the time. In this case, it obviously just doesn't quite happen. Maru tries to get that Reaper, doesn't quite manage to. Good damage onto the Reaper and Hellions though, right? And that's really where you want the damage to be able to slow this down. Third Marauder shows up, and a Hellion as well, so Maru's pressure will continue. Coming up, gets another Reaper kill, but only 1 Marauder left in a moment. As I lie, because that one gets away for a moment. Actually gets another shot off onto a Marine. Beautiful micro out of Maru. Even the Hellion surviving as long as possible. Another Hellion goes down. My goodness, Maru's micro absolutely on point there. Beautifully saved on the Hellion and on the Marauder that was low HP too. Pulls the Hellion back now to the other units, and this is just getting out of control. Can Q ever stabilize against this? I mean, Hellion's roasting SCVs. He is going to get surrounds on the Marauders. Looks like that'll be the end of the Marauders here. Marauder put a bit more damage out onto the opposing Hellion before it goes down. 9 workers killed. I mean, it's truly disastrous amounts of damage that Maru has dealt. And honestly, he ain't done another Marauder, and Hellion showing up against 2 Hellions now. The problem is the Hellions don't kill the Marauder very quickly. The Hellion of Maru actually just goes in to target fire down some low health SCVs. And we'll get a couple of additional kills off this as well. For Maru, it's just all about trading out for workers. And he believes he's going to have enough army at home to deal with this if needed anyway. In fact, he's building a Banshee, which is really the complete shutdown of if Kyo wants to try and, counterattack. The Banshee is so good because what does Kyo bring to a counterattack? That really kills the Banshee. A few Marines, maybe a Cyclone, well, that's going to take a long time to get into. At that point, Maru should have other units to be competitive here as well. So, really, really well handled by Maru. Beautiful attack, beautiful little more proxy Marauder, and absolutely showing up at the start of this game 1, which he must win to keep Team NV alive in this series, to try potentially take us through to an ace match here today. That's the goal, that's the aim. Hey, what's up, Ravi? Thank you so much for the 65-month resub. I appreciate the song. I'm not going to sing it out on stream, though. Thank you so much for the 65 months. As you do have all our scouting racks here from Maru, just going to come in and check to see what's up and what's happening. Was never in the position where he had to lift this for high ground vision. Hence, just kept building Marauders. And even built a Marauder or two to send back home, so he has some defensive Marauders as well. Should Kua try to get aggressive himself. Command set from Maru building on the low ground versus the high ground CC of Kua. So Kua's probably finished a little faster, but still actually has to float down to the low ground. And the biggest thing is still just the fact there's a 6 SCV advantage for Maru. I mean, that's just something which is truly undeniable. And for it having happened so early, it's going to take a long time for it to be fixed. You know what? I didn't even realize Kua built that siege tank first, so this Banshee's going to come in, and there's so many one-hittable SCVs in this mineral line because of the earlier damage. So the Banshee just instantly kills 5 workers, 5 shots, or 6 shots, I think, and 5 kills. It's just going to go down, locked onto by the Cyclone. And here, another Banshee is just going to kill the siege tank at the front because that was the only scan, apparently, for the moment. Oh, no. I mean, Raven's about to pop, so you're going to have detection. You do have a way to turn this around. It's just feels like it's disaster after disaster right now. Now a Cyclone of Maru comes up into Kua's base. Going to get a lock onto a siege tank. Well, that tank is actually not going to get out of range. It is going to be hunted down. Cyclone stays in range of it and more damage done. Guys, can we make it stop? I feel like it's going to be a little bit unfair. Maru is just getting into. I mean, he's just doing more and more damage. Now he's got a tank here. He's got 2 Marauders here. It's almost like Maru's base is just right outside of Kua's base. The rate at which units are just showing up. Oh, you're going to come and break my units at the front? Sure, I've already killed the Cyclone. He's actually going to almost win that fight over there. He's got the Banshee in the mineral line. Maru picks up the first game against Kua. First step in the right direction to possibly tie us up here and to take us to an ace match against the 2 top-ranked teams right now in this league. I guess it comes down to what the map is as well, right? So the map actually has a pretty big influence. I don't think we've seen an ace match this week, so okay, I'll check out. If we go to an ace match, I'll check what the map will be so you guys can make some predictions on the player. Alright. Bottom left, Blue Terran's Maru needs one more map to take us to the ace match. And in the top right, our Red Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Let's give it up if you guys are cheering on Kua. Game 2. And Kua is going to bring the proxy to the table this time around. Bring this out across to the bottom side. First racks building. Oh, guess what? So is Maru. Everyone's proxying everybody. I think this is an auto loss for Maru because he's proxying 1 racks versus proxying 2. Proxying 2 racks and just being a little bit more aggressive. Generally, the more aggressive proxy wins. And that's exactly what Kua is set up to have right now. The problem, okay, what Maru could do is if Maru builds his factory across the map, because he will have the gas to build the factory a bit sooner, so maybe he kills the factory across the map and he can get to a Hellion. I'm not sure if that saves him, though. I'm not sure if that saves him, though. Get this set up first. Reaper on the way. Yeah, 2 Reapers on the way. Maru factory is going to be at home because he just doesn't know about it right now, and he's going to start building a Marauder. The problem is the Reapers are just so much more microable than Marauders. It's just going to be really, really difficult to get enough done here as Maru. You're going to have a Marauder... Like I say, the Marauder across the map just does not do anywhere near as much as these Reapers will do. And I feel like this is going to be a bit of a flopped final game of this series because I just think Q is going to walk on in and Maru's aggressive tendencies are not going to work out in his favor. The good news for Maru is that Q waited for 2 Reapers, so he had a bit more time to build this factory freely. But I mean, he's going to get this factory up, and then what? I mean, Hellion can start. The Marauder across the map is... I mean, you have to attack, right? And start to do damage there, as a few SCVs are going to pull in after the Reaper. One of the big things here is you want to try and just mine as much as possible so you can keep building as much as possible, but obviously Reapers auto-regen over time, so again, it's just better to have them in this situation than it is to have Marauders. And the Hellion will come out, and the Hellion gets a good initial shot. SCVs, oh, get a catch on a Reaper, that's massive! A second Reaper takes so much damage, doesn't go down though, and now it will start to auto-regen. Maru's Marauders show up on the other side. He needs to stop mining, because otherwise unit production will just get out of hand here. Man, he really needs this Hellion to pop out to get rid of that low HP Reaper, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And Kira is looking as though he's going to win it all for Dragon Phoenix Gaming right now. The Hellion shows up. He does get another of the Reapers, but does it make a difference? Not quite. And Marauders are still kiting across the map, and they are doing a good amount of damage, but look at how much money Kira still has. He has the money to build so much more still. Maru's going to have one more Hellion, and he's going to send that one across the map, I believe, to go join up with his Marauders. Yeah, I mean, Kira can also just build like 4 additional Marines here. It's just not a competition. One of these Marauders is probably going to die as well, low HP, and it just about escapes away. And you can micro your heart out, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to win it. I guess? Okay, I mean, the thing is, eventually the CC probably gets a chance to land, and you go from there, right? This Mule is so important to stop. Then you see the attempt to get a little bit of extra gas. He gets the gas for one more Reaper. That's massive as well. Just got enough gas for the additional Reaper. So it's 8 army supply against 8 army supply, but again, the army supply of Q will just keep on growing. Maru's going to return his orbital to the main base, which I think Q is now going to figure out because he sees it's not over on the left-hand side. So obviously a big part of this is making sure that that orbital never gets to land in mine. And again, his units are just so much more mobile. They can do that much better than what Maru's units can do. So Maru just can't chase down the CC of Q anywhere near as easily. Yeah, it's just brutal, guys. Like I said, it's a complete build order loss from Maru's point of view. There's just not really a way to save this, fix it, or anything along those lines. There just isn't. Like I said, I hate to be negative, I hate to be kind of brutal about it, but that's just the way this works. It just doesn't... This is just not something which is really meant to work in Maru's favor based on the builds, and alas, that will be how this ends. He has a little bit of mine here. Actually gets the Mule to return a bit of money. Maru's going to type out GG. Q's going to take it, and Dragon Phoenix Gaming are going to take the lead of the World Team League with 1 week of matches left to play.